Welcome back to another episode of That Sound Podcast. And if you love music, you're in the right place. Today we are going to be talking all about the seventh studio album by Thin Lizzy, Johnny the Fox. The album, of course, was released in 1976, and a lot of it was written while Phil Lynott had to go into hospital while he was recovering with hepatitis. He wrote a lot of the songs from his hospital bed on an acoustic guitar, and some of the tracks, like Don't Believe a Word, was actually written to be a slower, more melodic, kind of bluesy song while he was writing with his acoustic guitar. But things changed. A lot of things changed during this album. I believe that Brian Robinson and Phil Lynott definitely clashed heads a lot during this album. And this, of course, was the last album, full-length album, to have this lineup. The album length is 35 minutes and 37 seconds. It was produced by John Alcock and it was recorded initially in Germany. I think it was for tax reasons or something. The guys flew out to Germany. They didn't like the studio. They found it hard to get a good drum sound in the room. So they came to a point and they said, we got to go back to London. So the album was recorded in London. The album cover, of course, was done by Jim Fitzpatrick. Again, Phil Lynott was giving him input into what style that he wanted. This album cover is very Celtic as well. It almost reminds you of something from like the Book of Kells or something. The cover definitely has that feel of Celtic mythology throughout it. And I think when they were looking for an idea to what to put in the middle, Phil Lynott just said, just put a fox in it and we'll call it Johnny the Fox. There wasn't a whole lot of thought put into this album cover. But let's see what the album's all about. There was a couple of singles off the album, of course. Don't Believe a Word was released, Rocky was released, and I believe Johnny the Fox and Jimmy the Weed was released in the USA. The lineup, of course, was Phil Lynott, Scott Gorham, Brian Robertson and Brian Downey, with some additional work by some musicians, including Phil Collins on percussion. The album reached number 11 in the UK album charts and number 52 in the US Billboard 200. Thin Lizzy was scheduled to support Queen on a US tour, but that came to an unfortunate end when Brian Robertson got involved in a bar fight in London and got a bad hand injury and had to pull out of the band. And that's when Gary Moore stepped in and the guys went back out on tour then in the US. So let's talk about the tracks. Again, this album opens with a belter, Johnny. One of Phil's characters, Johnny, the cowboy song. I love all these little stories that he has, and that song really hits hard at the start. I love this simplicity of that song. There's not a very difficult riff to play, but it works. It works with Phil's storytelling. It works with the drums. Brian Downey's drums again. The solo on this track at the end. One thing I don't like about this song is the fade out. I mean, you're just getting to the peak of the solo and it just starts to fade away. I really want more from this track, but it definitely is a brilliant start to this album.
Oh Johnny, oh Johnny, oh Johnny, oh Johnny. The cops have got him surrounded. He doesn't stand a hope. Wonders how he could be in so much trouble.
Just touching back on the lyrics, like it really is like a Celtic feel to his storytelling, but yet it has like a Western outlaw, almost like a Celtic cowboy or something this Johnny guy is. How do you rank this song? Into track number 2, Rocky. I've been listening to this album a lot this week, and I found this track personally, without being too mean, I feel like it's solid. Let's just call it solid. It's stock. It's just a track. I think it doesn't really hit a peak until the dual harmony guitars come in and save it for me. Around a minute 40, a minute 45, that solo comes in and it skyrockets this song. Definitely brings it to a higher level. I think it's a bit boring at the start. It doesn't really go anywhere, but the solo saves it for me. Wouldn't be in my top songs and top couple of tracks on this album, but it's a solid track only because the solo saves it for me. Borderline. What a song. I think it's Thin Lizzy's probably best ballad. I think the honesty, the songwriting, and you really feel the emotions again in Phil's delivery. You really feel it. I think he's so good as a songwriter and as a singer. He pulls you in by his singing. you don't listen to this song, you invest into this song and you really transform into the lyrics and you can feel it and put yourself into it, if that makes sense. What do you think of it?
Seven beers and still sober. I think I'll change to something stronger.
Don't believe a word. Don't believe a word. For me, big call coming up here. I think Don't Believe a Word is better than The Boys Are Back in Town.
Don't believe me if I tell you, not a word of this is true. Don't believe me if I tell you, especially if I tell you I'm in love with you. Don't believe me if I tell you that I wrote this song for you.
Yeah, I think it is. It's such a good song. And we all know that it was the debate that Brian Robertson encouraged Phil Lynott to go back in and rework this song to make it into this heavier song and not a kind of a bluesy one that we heard later on, the slower feel. But this song is one of my top, I'm going to say 5, 6 songs for Thin Lizzy. Brilliant. I love the groove. I love the swing. I love everything about this song. It's so good. Like it really shows, and I know we're up to the 7th album here, but like the flexibility of the band, the different styles, they're still not afraid. When we even go back to Borderline, they're not afraid to go back into that early era of the ballads. And when we get into the next song, even more so. Fool's Gold, so we get a spoken word again, like the early days, like the Eric Bell era. Phil is not afraid to start something new.
I'm not afraid anymore.
You know, that spoken word, I should say, go back and be vulnerable and be different. Like we're talking 1976 here, there was a lot of stuff going on, but they stuck to their roots and they had so many roots. Like they had the blues, they had the funk, they had the hard rock, they had the soul, they had everything, this band. But Fool's Gold for me, again, the lyrics and the storytelling and just the you really do transform into the song. I do anyway, listening to Phil's deliveries. I think he really pulls you in and just involves you in his story. You're almost in it with him when he's delivering these songs.
The old brass factory makes it to the 4-lane highway. This old compadre, he lays dead in the sand. With outstretched hands, he cries, "Are you going my way?" The people passing by didn't understand. Fool's gold, fool's gold.
Johnny the Fox meets Jimmy the Weed. What a track. We're on a roll here. Like these couple of tracks are unbelievable. First time I heard this song, I just thought, wow, it was so different than the early stuff that I heard. I heard all the hits, you know, the hard rock hits, but this was different. This was funk. This was like almost like it's almost similar to like early Red Hot Chili Peppers or something. That funk and the soul and the kind of humor to it as well. Jimmy the Weeds, I believe, was written in a character from a gangster based in Manchester. And Johnny the Fox was Phil's kind of alter ego. But what a story. You really feel like you're in a kind of 70s cop film or something, and there's like a drug deal going down and the funk music, and it's so good at creating this imagery by the music in your head. You can almost see this thing in front of you as you're listening to it like this. He's just so good at delivering. He was the best.
Johnny the Fox. He called to Jimmy the Weed. He said, "Hey man, I know your name. I seen you cruising with a down the bay. They got some crazy DJ.
Into Old Flame, then kind of a country feel to this song, kind of not a bad song. Again, we have so many spices in this dish and this album. It's so, you got the funk, we got the ballads, we got the hard rock, we got this, the swingy song with the Don't Believe a Word, the soul. This one, then again, it's not one of my favorites, I have to say. Again, I think this album slightly dips towards the end as well. Like, we're coming off Jailbreak here. I guess there was a lot of pressure on the band as well. The more I listen to this album, the more I appreciate it. But when I kind of first was listening to it, I was like, oh, it's such a step off Jailbreak. But it does stand up. But it's a grower, this album, I feel. But it's not fantastic. It has flaws for me personally. Massacre on this album is absolutely brilliant. I think it's one of my favorites on this track. It's definitely between Don't Believe a Word and Massacre. The only thing I'd say about Massacre is I feel like the bass is too high on this track. It's very high, but what a song! The riff, the flow of it, just this. It's just a good hard rock song. Really, really good. Phil's delivery again. Oh, I did say that the album was kind of coming down at the end, but that one definitely brings it back up. Massacre for me. What a track. Same with Sweet Marie. It's okay. It's just, it's a love story. It's kind of similar to the Old Flame. And then Boogie Woogie Dance, for me, I don't know. The drumming is excellent in it, but I feel like it's just something that was thrown together. It's not a great song for me. But overall, it's a solid album. But I think there's better albums. I think I'd take Fighting over this. But you got to look back at the solid tracks. Don't Believe a Word, Johnny the Fox, Jimmy the Weed. There is solid tracks in this. But there is a few average songs. What's the standout tracks for you? Where would you rank this album in their discography? Was it a drop off after Jailbreak, or is it one of your favorites? Please let me know in the comments. Again, thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate. If you could hit that subscribe button, it can really help the channel grow and help us get more videos out to you guys. All right, stick around for the next one.